Hey crafters, this is Paulette. Welcome to Paulette's Pretty Paper Crafts. I'm trying desperately to wrap up my last minute procrastinating Christmas projects, and I thought I would just post some fun things that I found recently in the month of either November or December. I've got some really fun cookie cutters that we're going to talk about. JoAnn's, my local JoAnn's store had these Darice folders on sale, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that and how that led to what I did for my Christmas cards this year. Let's look at these cookie cutters first. Oh my goodness. You know, I got this cutter the same day I got these folders, and it was $1 off, so it was a normal $3.99, and I paid $2.99 for it. Oh, how I wish there were many of these. There was only one, and my daughter-in-law has a cookie baking day at her house that we started last year, because last year I learned how to do the bakery cookies, the sugar cookies with the beautiful royal frosting that's very liquid, and you squirt it on your cookies and it becomes very shiny and beautiful as it dries, and they're just a magical thing to me. From my childhood, the only place you could get them was at the bakery. So those are super fun, and so there was only one, so I purchased it knowing that I could share it at my daughter-in-law's cookie baking day. That led me to these snowmen, which I found at Walmart. Since I could not get the little elf stockings for everyone, I had seen these at Walmart. They were $1.88, which was really a great price. I looked at many boxed sets, bagged sets. The cookie cutters are relatively expensive compared to other craft, stuff. The premise of this is that you can make a cavity inside the cookie, and after you bake them, you glue it all together with your frosting and hide a little treat inside. Here's that, you cut your backing pieces and your front pieces, and then you cut this center piece. You'll ultimately have the tiny snowman as an extra cookie, which I suppose you could glue him to the front of the big snowman even. Ultimately, if you didn't want a bunch of little snowman cookies, but you make this cavity and then you glue 3 pieces together, two, a front, a back, and this is the center, and that gives you that little space to put a candy inside there. Well, I felt like that's an awful lot of work. The reason I purchased these was for the giant snowman cutter. Have you not seen, while you're waiting in line at Starbucks, if you go in the store, those adorable snowman cookies? Yes, they're so cute. They have a hat and they have a scarf and maybe a couple of buttons, and they're made with the royal frosting, and I just think they're adorable. So what I did this year, and gosh, I don't even think I've posted it on my blog. Maybe I should post it in with this post. I gave these to all of my girls, my mom, my niece, my daughter, my daughter-in-law at Thanksgiving. That way they could use them in time for Christmas. I was going to put them in Christmas stockings, and yes, it's a good idea, but for me, it's not, because you can't use it. You have to wait until the next Christmas season to use it. And I didn't want people to have to wait a whole year to use it, so I gave them at Thanksgiving. So super cute. Love that. And then these really cute mittens, also from Walmart, that I purchased on a separate visit, just because this adorable mitten is here, and I just love these. And then they're painted in these nice, instead of the silver, they've got a coating on them that I think is really cute. I did think seriously about buying these for my girls as well, but the quality of them just wasn't there for me. They had extra where they're, it's not really where they're welded together. I don't know if it's where the machine held on to them. There was extra metal, little burrs that were going to cut people's fingers. and they just, where they come together wasn't very well, or they weren't painted well, or the paint was chipped off, etc., etc. So again, I purchased this that way for the big cookie making day we could all use this mitten. And there's a snowflake and a snowman too. We love the bakery cookies now that we know how to do it. One of the trips at JoAnn's, they had these embossing folders by Darice, 5 for $10, which meant they were $2 a piece. They're a normal $3.99, so that made them half price. You know, they're, whatever you call it, they're my downfall, just like the $1 stamps at the Michael's or JoAnn's $1 bin. I cannot resist them. I don't necessarily use them all the time, but I like having options. What's wrong with me? So I chose this fireworks one, and it is called Fireworks. I just love it. I don't know. It's really fun, and I'm slowly collecting 4th of July things. I don't have a whole lot, and this will just make a great addition to the things I have, and I can make, you know, all kinds of crafty things with that. This one has some fall leaves on it and kind of some windy, swirly bits, and I thought this would be really fun. I've got the little leaf punches, I've got a maple punch and a little oak leaf punch. I've also got a little oak leaf die that is from Sizzix. It's an original Sizzix. It's the small green, so it's the thick, small green die that is an oak leaf as well, and I thought those would be cute. You know, emboss the front of a card and do some sponging over this, and then glue a few little loose leaves on top. I thought would be really fun. So that one is called Fall Leaf Background. Here's one that is some snowflakes with some more kind of swirly, flourish things, and it's called Snowflakes Swirl. And again, I just thought this would be really fun. I thought this might make some really easy Christmas cards. Oh my goodness, I had such a hard time honing in on my Christmas cards, and I'm going to share in a little bit my journey about that. I purchased some dies in the summer thinking that's what I would do, and just could never bring it together. And then when I saw these on sale, I was like, yes, here's a couple of different options. I knew Katie was limited on time, my daughter, this year as well. And I thought if I needed to honk out some cards for her and myself, this would be a very easy route to go. Here is a happy birthday, and I just thought that this was really nice too. I love the placement. I love the polka dots. I love that the birthday sentiment is kind of up here near the top. You could put balloons or present. Don't we all have those little dies that are balloons and presents and whatnots? And just, I love this area that you could do any of that, or both. You could do presents and balloons. I just loved it. Now this one will have to be altered. It opens this way, and you know, if you're one of those people that just takes a piece of cardstock and adheres that to another piece, you know, your card base, then you're good to go. But if you want to emboss on the front of your card and have a one-layer card, this is not going to work. So it needs to open from the top. So we're going to talk about that a little bit on the next one, and this one was simply called Happy Birthday. Oh, another thing I wanted to mention was on the packaging, they had Happy Birthday in these other languages. So Feliz Cumpleaños is Spanish, Bonne Fete I think probably is French. So I put an extra tag on these and wrote that down. You know, it was on every single one, but I didn't really think that Snowflake Swirl would be something I would be saying on another card in another language. So I just did it on the birthday one. Here is Santa's Sleigh Night Scene, and I had a brain blurb and put the sticker on the front of my folder. So, oh well. This one I have already altered. It did open at the bottom, and I've made it to open at the top because I'm that girl who's going to do a one-layer card. I don't know. Creatively, I have some kind of hang up over gluing extra pieces of card to the front and then having that be really heavy and the back not really being substantial enough for that. I don't know. It's a mental block. I'll just admit it. It is a mental block, but so I have altered this, and I've shared that before on my blog. Maybe I will post a link there, but very simply, the folder is shut. Let's look at one that opens from the bottom. Pinch the folder shut, put some packing tape on here. I love that big wide clear packing tape that's about this wide, and I put it on here and wrap it around. I do it again a second piece, and then come in here because there is a space in the top of all of these folders, about a 1.5 inch space, and then you can just sneak your craft knife in there and just slit it on both sides and then trim, clean up any edges that are left there, and then you've got your altered folder, and you can use it the way you want to use it or the way that you craft. So let's cuss and discuss this a little bit. I don't think I've shared some of my new dies. I don't know. We've just had a lot of crazy things. We had a drastic income change. Some other just kind of bizarre things, you know, family things. And I purchased some dies in the summer, fully having in mind, oh my gosh, this is what I'm going to do for my Christmas card. Here are some carolers from, I'm gonna say it wrong, so I've got to get in here and look. Diversions, the Diversions Company carolers. It's DVP-096, and I just loved these. And when I purchased this, I was thinking, this will make a very easy Christmas card. And you know what? I just could not bring it together. I could not sit down and do it. Just too many things going on. I also later purchased these little dies from Little Yellow Bicycle, which apparently are by the Momenta company as well. Have you seen those new Momenta dies at Hobby Lobby this year, in the 2014 year? And these are very simply Hope, Dream, and Believe. And I wanted to use Believe. I don't know. I guess it just didn't go. The Believe word just didn't go with my carolers. I needed Noel or something to do with singing carols. So that may be where my hang-up was. I just had a tremendous creative block. So I thought that this Santa and his reindeer were going to come to my rescue and make an easy card, but no. So I started out by embossing this with my newly altered embossing folder and a very old, very gunked up embossing pin. Oh my gosh. I bought this years ago when Carol Duvall or Dee Grunig was doing some really awesome, amazing things with embossing ink and embossing powders, and bought a heat tool and thought that was just amazing. And this pen is so old and kind of gunky and yicky, and so you can see here I kind of selectively colored that embossing ink on and did embossing in some various colors because I have quite a nice collection of embossing powders, really I do. And I just hated this. Hated it. So that one was out. So I did these on some watercolor paper, and I get my watercolor paper at Wal-mart. It's Canson, and I really like it. It has a smooth side, and I did this. I embossed on the rough side, thinking that, you know, watercolor travels so much better on that rough side than it does the smooth side. I watercolored all of these, you know, Santa and the deer and the cabin and the trees first, and then clear embossed over that to try to trap those colors in. But because this is not sealed on the back, when I added all this other watercolor around the outside edges, it bled into those other colors, and I just didn't like it. I mean, it's okay if you love watercolor, and I do, you know, now that all is said and done and I've moved on, this really is okay. On the day I did it, it was not okay. So, but you know, I will use that. I will use that on something. And I had a third attempt. I said, well, gosh, what if I just clear emboss all of the raised images from the folder and then did my watercolor around it. And you know, I really, you know, both of these really I like. I really do. I even kind of like this one better. But to do it 50 or 60 times, however many Christmas cards I was going to make, was just going to be an eternally long process that I wasn't willing to give the time to. So I ended up, you know, deciding I was not going to do that. And maybe I would bounce back to my original idea of trying to use the word dies or the caroler dies. So I moved on and sat down at the computer to create my Christmas card, which I do every year. Every year I say the same thing on it, you know, ta-dee about this kid, ta-dee about that kid. Oh, we did this, you know, Millie's growing and amazing and blah, blah, blah. I just said to myself, that is so monotonous. And I don't have time for that. My main goal here is to get a photo of each of us onto paper and put it in with my card. So I moved on from creating a card to creating this. I have a little program called Print Shop. It's not the full version, but I'm able to do what I want to do and create kind of what I want to create. I just go in and choose a blank starting point and add whatever I want to it. Add the photos, add the text boxes, add the text. And if you look at it this way, this is one whole sheet of paper that's 8.5 by 11 inches. And this is just how it mapped out. I ultimately chose a photo that I really like of Mike and I from our trip this summer to Hollywood. And I didn't have any good pictures of the kids. And here's what happens. I have this love-hate relationship with iPhone and iPad and the iCloud, and there's not enough space, and the cloud's not a storage space, blah, blah, blah. My phone is so full of photos that when we were in Hollywood, I was having to delete photos to take photos. My computer is so full of photos that I couldn't download the older photos from my phone to my computer so I could free up space and take new photos. So we're going to talk a little bit about that again in a moment. I did buy an external hard drive and eliminated that issue for the time being. I did not even... You know, I'm always thinking I'll have the kids take pictures of us at the holiday when we gather together to eat and celebrate. And because my things are all too full, or the iPad does not have a good camera on it, it does not take good photos inside the house very well unless you have really lots of lighting and no ceiling fans on. The ceiling fan interrupts the light somehow and you get these weird smeary photos, which are not acceptable. And so I didn't have any good photos. I have really great photos of Millie, but no good photos of the kids themselves. So I went to their Facebook pages and stole pictures off of their Facebook pages to create my little thing. I tried to center this. I do it twice on one sheet of paper in a landscape format on my computer. Center them so that I have about the same space here on both sides, so I can just cut this down the middle and I'm done. When I got done creating this, I went, wow, this is my Christmas card. End of story. I don't have to create anything else. I've said my greeting, Merry Christmas. I've put all our names on it and photos of all of us. The cool thing about this is that once this is folded up, it fit in a regular envelope perfectly. Now, I'm either a genius or I just get lucky because this folded perfectly in a trifold manner that it didn't fold on anybody's face or any of the wording, and it happened to fit perfectly in a regular envelope. And I was able to mail these, or I will be sticking some of these in with the calendars that I'm making, and I'm good to go. Now, my printer is a freak. I have the Hewlett-Packard PhotoSmart 7520, which is supposed to be a beautiful, amazing printer. It does print lovely photos. It really does, on the 4x6 photo paper. I put some cardstock in my printer to print some other things, and it started printing and was going to print however many pieces of cardstock were in the printer. This image from the previous project, even though the printing abilities for this project had been canceled out. So I've got some of these lovely ones that came out on cardstock that a couple of family members will be delighted to have. Here is the Seagate portable drive. This is what they call the external hard drive. It has no brain. It's not a computer. It's like a little USB stick, a little smart stick that you can put things on. You could carry this around. You could plug it into any computer that has a USB port and look at the photos, print the photos, share the photos, whatever you want to do. This is 2 terabytes. It is, well, they rounded it up. It's like 1.87 terabytes. Which is almost 2,000 gigabytes. So they said it should last for about 4 or 5 years, and you can put your photos and your videos on it. So I took all of the photos and videos from my computer and transferred them over to this. Then I was able to take all of the photos, the older photos from my phone, and push them to the computer. Now I can take some photographs and videos with my phone again. This was around $80. I think it was $79.99 plus tax, and we just picked it up at our local Best Buy. Awesome, awesome, awesome invention if you need another place to store some photos. Ultimately I probably need to print my photos, but I have got shoe boxes full of photos that need to go in a photo album. I'll never scrapbook because that's an eternally never-ending project. So, but I am very, very pleased with this. It was very easy to use. You can ask your computer to send the photos instantly to this if you leave it plugged into your computer, but I chose to manually because I want to move what I want to move. So I chose to manually choose the folders and photos that I wanted to move over to this. So anyway, very good. So I hope you guys are having a very Merry Christmas, and hopefully I'll get back on track and share. I've got a lot of dies and things to share that I'm behind on that are from the summer. And so I wish you all just a very, very Merry Christmas with family and friends and good food and good crafts. And hope you all enjoy the holiday.